Hey, what's up guys, Bobby here, and today we're going to be doing something a little different on my channel. I have not done this at all. I don't think I ever did anything like this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do my 2017 NFL predictions. Yes, I know the Super Bowl was probably like just, 2 weeks ago, and you're thinking, Bobby, why are you doing predictions now? The draft has not even started, not even the combine. Well, I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do another predictions after the preseason. I want to see how much my views change. So this is kind of like where I could see where my views change with these type of teams and who they get through the off season. But enough talk. Let's get to it. So actually, I'm gonna go conference by conference, and then the AFC, then the NFC first. But I'm gonna go division by division. So I'm gonna go North, East, South, West in that particular order. Okay. So in the AFC North, I do have the Pittsburgh Steelers going 10-6. I do believe Ben Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell, and Antonio Brown will come back again as the Steelers put up another impressive season, but we'll just see how far they really can go. And in the second and the tiebreaker with the 8-8 record, have the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. Both teams that did kind of were under the radar last year in a way that I didn't think they performed well at all last season. Especially the Cincinnati Bengals 2 years ago, they were a playoff team, but they just choked. And and the Baltimore Ravens, they kind of had a kind of down year. You know what I mean? I kind of expected a little bit more from them. They have a great defense, but really don't have much besides Joe Flacco, and otherwise they just don't have anything at all. And then last we have the Cleveland Browns. Yikes! Only winning one game last year. Yikes! I thought they were gonna go 0-16 because I wanted that stinking parade, but nope. Either they're gonna go 4-12 or they're gonna go 16-0. I'm calling it right now, bro. Yeah, no. In the AFC East, I do have my New England Patriots going 13-3. The three teams I think they're gonna lose to, maybe I think the one of them will be against the Raiders in Mexico, and two maybe to the Atlanta Hawks, maybe, but I'm not sure, and also maybe to like a random team just to lose. So I really don't know until we have with trade rumors and stuff, free agent signings of Devontae Hightower, and also we may be trading Rob Gronkowski, which would be really stupid of New England to maybe Tampa Bay, what I heard, but that's a different story. Up next, we do have the 9-7 Miami Dolphins for the wild card spot. I do think that Ryan Tannehill can do a decent job with Jarvis Landry, and also have a pretty good defense with Ndamukong Suh also. But to me, they kind of raised a couple eyebrows. I didn't think that the Miami Dolphins were going to be in a playoff spot. After 16, I think 16, 17 years of waiting, man, they definitely were a surprise to me. So I do think they'll struggle, maybe do a little worse, but I do think a 9-7 will get them in the playoffs. Up next, we have the Buffalo Bills, 6-10. Oh man, the Buffalo Bills have not gone anything good for them, but the last I don't know, since the last 20 years, except, last winning going to the Super Bowls and losing all of them. Buffalo has a lot of work to do. They don't have a great offense, a consistent offense in general. They do have a decent defense, but I will have to say you got to have at least to be able to score points, especially in this division. Otherwise, you're not going to make the playoffs at all. And that proves the points of the New York Jets. The New York Jets have literally have nothing where their best wide receiver is the freaking pitch, the ground, the field itself. As a have a lot of friends that are New York Jets fans, and uh, I feel bad for them. And I really do think that hopefully Eric Decker will become fully healthy for them because he was a beast, a really beast until he got really injured and was out for the season. But I think they really got to understand they got to be like more assertive to the quarterback position. Ryan Fitzpatrick was playing pretty great for them at the 2 years ago. And this season kind of went down a little bit by a lot. But overall, I think you still keep Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think he's the most consistent quarterback on the team. I just can't keep changing quarterbacks. I think that's what the Jets need to follow. In the AFC South, we have the Indianapolis Colts going 11-5. Andrew Luck, I think Andrew Luck's gonna have a bounce back year after a pretty bad, injury prone, season. Didn't quite have a great offensive line, but I do think that they're gonna draft well for the offensive line and get some solid defensive picks. So I think that's what the Colts really need to do to get back into it because they lost the division to freaking Texans, the Texans, bro, and really almost choked it to the Tennessee Titans as well. So I do think Andrew Luck will come back. I don't think he'll be an MVP, but I do think that he can go far in the playoffs. Up next, we have the Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans. I think the Houston Texans are going 8-8. If you guys know, there's a lot of 8-8 right now. No, this is why I'm just predicting these numbers are going to change dramatically after the draft and combine and preseason. So this is where I generally think they could be or slightly close to where they will end up. But I think the Tennessee Titans can be a 9-win team. Marcus Mariota played really great. Had DeMarco Murray and a decent defense as well. I think just need a more consistent offensive line to help them out. But yeah, they're definitely on the rise. The most improved team, I think, from last season. But overall, I do think Tennessee Titans are on the rise. Texans, although otherwise, good defense. Clowney, J.J. Watt. Problem is they're both injury prone, and Brock Osweiler, man, needs to be more consistent. Nothing really else to talk about. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, I mean the Sacramento Jaguars. I wish the Jacksonville Jaguars. I go 5-11. They do have really nice offensive weapons. Blake Bortles definitely been a quarterback that I've been keeping my eye on. Decent, but he just doesn't have an offensive line to keep him safe, bro. He does have uh, Hines, I believe. Yeah, Alan Hines or Hines, something like that. Something like that. I forget. Oh, something Allen, something like that. Totally forgot. But overall, two really good wide receivers, very fast, very deadly, that can get him a lot of touchdowns. But problem is, they don't have a defense and they don't have an offensive line, so that really, really hurts them. And I do think Jacksonville Jaguars, they get an offensive line and a decent defense. I do think they could become a good, successful team in the future. In the AFC West, I have the Oakland Raiders going 12-4. I'm going to call it right now. If Derek Carr does not get injured this season, he will win the MVP or fight to or be in the finalists with Aaron Rodgers for the MVP this year. They'll go 12-4. I think the Raiders will have a good season. They'll draft smart to gain more defense because otherwise they just have Khalil Mack. No disrespect to the Raiders defense. Um, they played well, but to me, when you look at their numbers, they were not really looking great on paper. They had a great offense to the legendary Derek Carr, Amari Cooper, Mike Crabtree, and the running backs, But I think if they get a really good defense, they'll definitely become a huge Super Bowl threat, which I would be very, very much happy to see. Um, yeah. Up next, we have the second wild card, the Kansas City Chiefs going 9-7. Nothing really else to talk about besides Alex Smith and his whole team. If they can keep it up, Spencer Ware, Jamal Charles, if he's even going to be healthy. Up next, you have the the Denver Broncos. Gosh, sorry, I've been watching too much Laser Beam. My bad. I'm so sorry, Broncos fans. I'm sorry. I've been watching too much Laser Beam. Okay, so Oh my God, the Denver Broncos going 8-8. I think they'll have a bounce back year. I think they need a quarterback. That's why I'm really thinking they should try to get Tony Romo. Take a chance. Take a chance. Trevor Siemian did show some good qualities, but I think you need a more experienced quarterback. Abby's knows I have Peyton Manning, a really good clutch, all-time legendary quarterback, giving you 10 plus wins. Now you go to Siemian that has pretty much a downfall year. You need an experienced quarterback. I think Tony Romo may not win the starting job over Dak Prescott this season or next season. So I think that'll be very interesting. And then the next, I have the Los Angeles Chargers. I think they'll still struggle. They'll lose a lot of games that they came close to winning but just blew it. But the Chargers, they actually have a decent team, but they just lose the games that they need to start, have more killer instincts and to help them win games. But nothing else about the Chargers. Now about the NFC North standings, I have the Green Bay Packers going 10-6. Detroit Lions 9-7, Minnesota Vikings 6-10, Chicago Bears 4-12. I think it's going to be an MVP season for Aaron Rodgers. this season, even though with the 10-6 I predict so far. But overall, they don't have a great. They have a decent offensive line and a not so great defense anymore. They're getting older. Clay Matthews and Clinton Dix are having a great season in the backfield and defense. But of course, I think they need to start investing draft picks for defense and for the future. That's what I'm trying to think. If Green Bay Packers can get like Solomon Thomas from Stanford, I think that could really help them a lot. Detroit Lions, they need a little slightly more defense, but they proved me wrong. They made the playoffs. No, I don't think they made the playoffs. Did they? I don't remember. I think they were close, but otherwise, don't really care about the Lions. The Vikings, Teddy Bridgewater was out last season. It depends if he can come back from the injuries. Simple as that. Bears, no, absolutely not. Oh my gosh, it sucks to see a good legendary football team like Chicago going through rough times. So much great history, but are they really gonna stick with Cutler? I don't know. We'll just have to see. In the NFC East, we have the Dallas Cowboys going 12-4. We gonna have them going 12-4. I think a lot of teams can figure them out by studying the New York Giants films. How they can beat them in a way. But I think Dallas Cowboys will win the division and become the number one seed in the NFC. Up next, I have the wild card New York Giants going 10-6. I do think this is going to be either I get this wrong or awfully wrong. It's either Eli's going to have a good season or he's going to go bad, bad, bad. That's no disrespect to Eli. Obviously, he's beating my Patriots twice, which hurts. But Eli is a good quarterback, and I hope he has a good season. And Odell Beckham Jr. He's got weapons. They released Victor Cruz. I have no clue where Victor Cruz will go. So we'll have to see what happens. The Philadelphia Eagles with Carson Wentz and the decent defense. Um, I think he needs a little bit more help wide receiver wise. He does have some weapons, but I just don't think they have the star quality at that position to really help win a lot of games. Carson Wentz did show a lot of good rookie season. Then he kind of got a little shaky in the middle, but I think he's gonna have a good sophomore year. And then we have Kirk Cousins and Washington Redskins. I don't think they're gonna finish 7-9. I do think this division is gonna be very tough. I do think Washington Redskins will learn a lot what they learned from last season and become maybe a 9-win or maybe 10-win team. I think this is the chance where they can show what they really got. And they showed a lot of good. They were playing really well, and they just lost a lot of games at the beginning of the season. But let's see what Kirk Cousins can do. The NFC South, I have the Atlanta Falcons going 12-4. I think they're gonna do pretty strong again. The Carolina Panthers will rebuild from last season and try to get back to where it's Super Bowl 50 where they were, but I just don't see it maybe this season. Maybe they can. Now if the Panthers draft Christian McCaffrey from Stanford, I'm being a little biased from Stanford, um, but I do think that could really help them. Christian McCaffrey. Think about it. They struggle in the running back. They have strong running backs, but Christian McCaffrey could be converted to a wide receiver like a Julian Edelman, very fast, very agile. I think that could be really, really helpful. Besides just Kelvin Benjamin, and Greg Olsen as targets, I think that would be really helpful for Cam Newton. But otherwise, we'll see what happens. Tampa Bay Bucks, interesting team. I heard the Tampa Bay Bucks will try to get Rob Gronkowski from the Patriots. To me, that would be very sad. But think about Doug Martin, Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski, famous Jameis Winston, and a okay defense, not great. They can start doing some draft picks on the defense. They can become a really good team. That has a lot of star quality right there, and I think they can easily become a 10-win team. New Orleans Saints, besides Drew Brees, nothing really else special there. They're still going to struggle. Same thing. And then NFC West, I have the Seattle Seahawks going 11-5, winning the division. Simple as that. I think Russell Wilson will come back from a stronger year, even with the shaky points of last season. So I think they'll be coming back strong with 11-5 season. Arizona Cardinals, David Johnson, Carson Palmer. I don't know if Carson Palmer will be still the quarterback, which he should be, but I do think they should try to get trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. That threw for like 400 plus yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions during the 4-game suspension of Tom Brady in the early beginning of the season. I do think the Cardinals should go for Jimmy Garoppolo, so they can extend their chances of winning the Super Bowl or getting to the Super Bowl a lot longer than Carson Palmer, which I believe is 36 or 37. So I think they need at least a backup quarterback that's young, that's good, that can take over Carson Palmer's job if necessary. The Los Angeles Rams, I don't think they're going to be great. I don't think they're gonna have a good season. I think they may have a okay season with a new coach and all. But to me, they have a good defense, but they need to work on the offense. They have a good offensive line. They have inconsistent wide receivers, and they really don't have a big quarterback. I know they drafted that Goff from Cal, and boy, that didn't look good. And then the San Francisco 49ers, 2-14. Ouch. No words to describe how their season. So, with all that in mind, this is what the bracket should look like due to my predictions for right now. This will definitely most likely change after the draft and the combine. So, but this is why I feel like going the road to Super Bowl 52. So in the first round, it's going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Kansas City Chiefs. I do still think the Chiefs will pull it out. To me, I just think that the Chiefs will find a way to make an upset. But I don't think the Steelers. I think maybe the Steelers will win, but I do think the Steelers will lose to the Chiefs, and the Chiefs will get the upset. Up next, we got the Colts and the Dolphins. I do think Andrew Luck will have a good season, and this will be kind of an easier game for him during the playoffs. So I'm still going to take Indianapolis over the Dolphins. Up next, we're going to have big game here. The Green Bay Packers versus the Arizona Cardinals. I do think Aaron Rodgers will go for an MVP-like season. And with this in mind, going against David Johnson and the very, very, very good Arizona Cardinals offense, I still will think that him and Jordan Nelson and Cobb and their defense will find a way to win. And so I'm picking the Packers. In the bottom of half of the NFC, we have the Seattle Seahawks with the New York Giants. I still think the New York Giants will struggle against Seattle. I think Seattle will bounce back, like I said, with the strong defense still and a good offense. So I'm still going to pick Seattle. So for the AFC, I have the Patriots and the Chiefs. I'm picking the Patriots, even though the Chiefs did kill us 2 years ago. But we learned a lot now about them since then, and it's gonna be a toss up. But overall, I'm still picking the Patriots and Tom Brady because Tom Brady just knows how to win. So I'm picking Tom Brady and the Patriots. Up next, we have Derek Carr and the Raiders going against Andrew Luck and the Colts. To me, this will be a very interesting matchup because both teams, Raiders have better offense, I would arguably say, and the Colts may have a better defense all around than the Raiders have Khalil Mack. So in the end, I do think experience will come down to this, and Andrew Luck does have more experience than Derek Carr by at least 2 years or a year and a half or so. But this will be a toss-up game. I would love to see the Raiders, but to me, in my gut, I still pick Andrew Luck. So I'm going to pick the Colts over the Raiders, which I would really think the Raiders will become later if they do draft like really smart they're in the draft. I may sway to them at this point of maybe becoming Super Bowl champions. So we'll just see how it goes after the draft. Up next, we have the exact same playoffs pretty much of last season. The Green Bay Packers and the Cowboys. Once again, I think Aaron Rodgers will have an MVP type season. I still think in the long run, just long story short, it will take another flying duck of a field goal to win against the Cowboys at home. So I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers again. So again, we have the Seahawks and the Falcons. I'm going to pick the Seahawks because of I think Atlanta will have some trouble shaking it off like Carolina, but they'll still win a lot more games than Carolina like after they lost Super Bowl. But I still think the experience will come down to it with Russell Wilson, so I'm picking the Seahawks. Patriots, Colts. By this, it'll be 3 years ago of the pretty much when the Colts got killed. So, but I think it will come down. I think this will be a very big hostile crowd in New England. Andrew Luck will want to get his revenge after 3 years ago by that point. But in the end, I still think Tom Brady. And when you look at the Patriots winning Super Bowls, if we win 2 and 3, like we did it in Super Bowl 36 and 38, and then we did it in 39. So if that pattern continues, and we won in 49 and 51, then we should go back to back this season, going by our history as repeating itself, hopefully, I'm going to pick the Patriots. And finally, we're going to have the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers, the probably most likely MVP, besides, or maybe Derek Carr, going against Russell Wilson. I would want, for me personally, I would want the Green Bay Packers. I think this would be a great Super Bowl. And in the end, I honestly feel like Tom Brady could win, but it will take a lot of an effort. Even I think I just showed you last Super Bowl. Peyton Manning barely won the game because of a blowout because Panthers didn't decide to show up. And at 39, we can all agree Peyton Manning did not look like Peyton Manning, in his prime, obviously, but he did look like he had a noodle arm. Tom Brady looked like he was in the best shape of his life. You know what I mean? Still playing hard, pretty much being Tom Brady. And so I still think Tom Brady will still have it in him. He'll still play great. I would hope for maybe this will be the only time in my damn life, I can say, I don't have to worry about, watching the Super Bowl, you know what I mean? So I don't have to keep losing my voice. I want this to be an easy, clean, easy win for the Patriots so I don't have to endure, 60 minutes of hell. So in the end, I do think Tom Brady will pull it off, and the Patriots will become back-to-back champions and the winners of Super Bowl 52. But right now, this is just my predictions of, assuming that there's no big, injuries. If everybody just drafts, okay, and, no big injuries, like I said, and just, everybody still plays, at the same or close to the same way they played last season. So this is what I'm basing my predictions on until after the combine and after the draft and after preseason. Then I'll make a more in-depth, looking at statistics. Even well, I did, but even more. So yeah. So in the Super Bowl, we will have the New England Patriots winning Super Bowl 52. So thank you guys for watching, and this is just my opinion. If I'm probably gonna get some dislikes and some comments, but it's just an opinion. If you don't have to like the opinion, you don't have to. You have your own opinion. I'm not gonna disrespect it, but this is just my opinion, and so yeah. But thank you guys so much for watching. It was super fun to do this, and see you after preseason.